Well, after the Legendary Crest stream, I decided to stay up and work on the essences and skills of the new class. I was kinda delaying that, but I'm glad I worked on it because after going through all of the skills and essences, I think I gathered up a pretty good PvP build for Tempest. I think this class has a pretty cool skill set, and the playstyle will resemble a rogue from other games. However, this class might be a little squishy, so we really need a lot of iframes, control immunity, and high burst damage, and this build will have it all. Now, I will start explaining the build with the skills we are going to use. But before that, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As you can guess, I will be sharing a lot of content about the new class and upcoming updates, and you can join my live streams to ask your questions. Anyway, now let's talk about our skills. First, we have Blade Dance with 3 different essences. This is the skill that gives that rogue feeling to the build. I will talk about every single essence when we come to the legendary items section, but in short, this skill gives us a dash, stun, and primary attack speed buff. Next, we have Flowing Strike. This is one of the movement skills we have, and it is really good because one of the essences we use gives us immunity to total loss of control and knockback effects. On top of that, you can use this while you are suffering from total loss of control, which is perfect. I was about to forget, but this skill also increases our damage thanks to our essence choices. Next, we have Squall. This is another dash skill we have, and it is quite similar to Monk's Mystic Strike. The essence we use for this skill makes us untargetable, which is crucial. Lastly, we have Zephyr Surge. This will be our main damage dealing skill. I'm sure you remember this from the trailers. This is the one that looks like 7-sided strike, but the essence we use makes us untargetable and allows us to dash to the enemy, unleashing a series of fast strikes. Of course, we need to choose one of the primary attacks as well, and I'm going with Wind Edge because it basically works like Fists of Thunder, meaning it makes you dash towards the enemy with a 5-second cooldown. Now that was the summary of skills we are going to use. Let's move on to the legendary affixes. I will tell you which essence you need to use for each slot. For the helmet, we are going to use Unmoored Eyes. Blade Dance now throws your edges, impaling them into the first enemy they strike, damaging and stunning them. Your edges remain embedded in the target for a short while, allowing you to activate the skill again to dash behind the target, damaging all enemies along your path. I think this essence is the soul of this build. I am sure it will be fun to use. For the chest, we are going to use Flitter Away. Blade Dance also increases your primary attack speed. This is important because we are going to use our primary attacks to deal more damage after we dash behind the enemy with Blade Dance. For the shoulders, we are going to use Safe Borders. Flowing Strike can now be used while suffering from total loss of control and knockback effects, making you immune to their effects briefly. Hopefully, this will help us stay alive longer and save us from tricky situations. For the pants, we are going to use Seafarer's Throws. Flowing Strike also grants you increased damage for a short time. Quite simple, we always want more damage. For the first main hand, we are going to use Harmonious Castile. Squall now makes you untargetable and causes you and your Zephyrs to dash forward, damaging enemies in your paths. Being untargetable is really important for this class to stay in the fight, and that's why we have this essence. For the second main hand, we are going to use Fiend Fell. Wind Edge becomes empowered periodically, causing your next attack to unleash a piercing wind that slices through enemies, dealing damage and shattering their armor, causing them to take increased damage. For the first offhand, we are going to use Mist Whisper. Zephyr Surge now causes you to become untargetable and dash at an enemy, unleashing a series of rapid strikes against them, with each Zephyr consumed granting additional strikes. Lastly, for the second offhand, we are going to use Samelian Windbrush. Blade Dance maximum charges increased by 1. With that, our PvP build for Tempest is ready, but I think we need to talk about set items as well, so let's just do that. For the set items, we have a couple of options to choose from. One of them is 4 pieces of Gloomsguide's Prize and 4 pieces of V2's Urge. If you feel too squishy with that, you can try using Mountebanks instead of V2's. As you can understand, I am creating this build before the class is released, so we might come up with different set options in the future. Other than that, I am not going to talk about the Paragon setup, because I will be releasing a separate video on that. The same applies to Legendary Gems and Reforge bonuses. I will be releasing a complete and polished version of the build in a few days, so like I said at the beginning, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss future content. That's all for this one, thanks for tuning in and take care.